Dear friends, welcome you all present here in the HO and all my friends watching live all across the country for the inauguration ceremony of our first ever Vigilance Awareness Week observed in Ujjivan. Let's begin our national anthem. So request you all to please rise up.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Myself, Siju, feeling really very proud and privileged to host this ceremony in the midst of our seniors and our esteemed chief guest. Request John to just have a few words and welcome our chief guest.
Thanks, Siju. Actually, we are extremely sorry. There was a power glitch here, or else the LED would have been played. Okay, I know that I've been sending a lot of awareness thing on the cartoons thing. We have these two characters where one lady was dreaming about her fairy tale life, another was wanted to buy a gold bangle to her wife, but actually both didn't had money. But with their greed, they cheated banks' money, and they ended up, at last they got caught. So one got iron bangles, another she was jailed. So I know that I've been sending this awareness week for all this thing, for all this year. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen, my seniors, dignitaries, my colleagues. Today it's a special day. Actually, for the first time in Ujjivan, we are celebrating Vigilance Awareness Week. So I've been sending this awareness week throughout the year. To inaugurate this event, in our midst we have chief guest, Honorable Mr. Justice Santosh Hegde, former Lokayukta and former Supreme Court Judge. So I warmly welcome you, sir. Please be on the stage, sir. Please come, sir. I request Carol to give away the... Yeah. Please come. Actually, this initiative, we started, actually, it was initiated by our independent director, Rajani Mishra. She is also in our midst. We warmly welcome you, madam, for this inaugural event. I request Martin to give away this. Thank you, Samit sir and Itra sir, to coming for this inaugural event. I request to please come on the dais, please. Round of applause to both Samit sir and Itra sir. Yeah. So I welcome all my colleagues, leadership team, RLT members, people who are present here, people watching on live. So a warm welcome to one and all. Thank you. So I request all the dignitaries to light the lamp, please.
Thank you. On this day, the bank has designed a logo which will be part of the vigilance awareness activities going forward. Request our Lordship, Mr. Santosh Hegde, to kindly unveil the logo. Ma'am. Vigilant Ujjivan. Okay. We have with us Mrs. Rajni Mishra, Independent Director of our bank. She holds a gold medal from MS University, has close to 43 years of experience from SBI, and is Independent Director in several other companies. Request you, ma'am, to please address the gathering.
Very good morning, respected members on the stage. Our Nama Santosh Hegde, Chief Justice from the Supreme Court, Mr. Shamit Ghosh, Mr. Tira Davis, John Christie, members of the Ujjivan family who have joined here physically and I believe many virtually too. It gives me great pleasure to be here today morning to launch the Vigilance Awareness Week for 2023. And a very happy occasion because this is the first time that Ujjivan is conducting these celebrations. So heartiest congratulations to all of you. CVC had started celebration of the Vigilance Awareness Week many years back. And those days, the primary focus was to fight corruption. And what better way to start the celebrations here, because we have Hegdeji amidst us, who has spent his entire life fighting corrupt practices and continues to inspire all of us. Over the years, vigilance awareness has assumed significance and multifold dimension because of the complexities of the way, businesses, transactions, processes are evolving. So today, let us dedicate ourselves to upholding the highest standards of ethics, integrity, honesty, fairness, and transparency. Today, it goes much beyond fighting corrupt practices, and we have to emulate these principles into our own lives. And if we do this, we are not only protecting ourselves, we are protecting all our co-workers, our colleagues, our customers, and also this great organization. Many a times we think that vigilance is something which is complex, which has to do beyond our regular job, our regular work. But vigilance is only being alert and being aware. I'll give a very simple, very simplistic example. Today morning, all of you have traveled to office. Many would have walked, the lucky ones, and some would have come by their two-wheelers, some by their four-wheelers. And as you emerge onto a busy intersection, it's a natural impulse which has got cultivated that you look to your left and look to your right. Nobody need tell you that. It comes now naturally to you. You know the consequences of not doing that, and what you need to do. That is exactly how simple vigilance awareness is. Knowing what you need to do or what you should not be doing, and realize the consequences of what you are doing. I'm reminded of our early days in the bank, and I think Shamit will also remember his early days in the bank, when we were required to pass manual checks. And as evidence of the check having been accounted for, we would just put a stroke on the face of the check. It was not a straight line or a simple stroke. It would start from the right, from the date of the check, go down to the payee of the check, go further down to the amount in words. The stroke would turn right, go to the amount in figures, and then turn left to the number of the check. So these were basics, and I think it holds good today also. If you take care of the basics, when you open your account, whether KYC is done, whether you release funds, and they are going for the right purpose for which you have given the loan, stick to the basics and more than half your job is done. But then you come to the critical element of this. How equipped are you to know what you have to do? So acquiring the knowledge and skills, regular updation, refreshing your skills, that is something which, again, all of us should pledge ourselves to and dedicate ourselves to make this organization a very strong, effective, and performing institution. I'm reminded of what Warren Buffett said, though in a different context but very relevant here. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. So let us become aware, and I wish each one of you a very satisfying, brilliant, long career in the organization. My compliments to John and his team for organizing very interesting events throughout the week, and I'm sure all of you will participate wholeheartedly and make this a grand success so that year after year we are able to witness these celebrations. I hope all of you have gone through the escape room experience. If anybody has not, please go through. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, and all the very best to all of you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Yes, we need to be aware, as ma'am said. It's a honor and privilege to have with us Honorable Mr. Justice Santosh Hegde. Santosh Hegde, sir, was born on June 1940 in the family to a former judge of Supreme Court Justice K.S. Hegde and his mother Meenakshi Hegde. His Lordship K.S. Hegde was part of 13 judge benches, delivered landmark judgments as well. His Lordship Santosh Hegde is the first and the only person from Karnataka to be appointed as Additional Solicitor General of India on 1989, and later became the Solicitor General of India in 1998. In 1999, he was appointed directly from the bar as Judge of Supreme Court of India and retired in 2005. His Lordship Santosh Hegde holds position of Chairman, Telecom Dispute Settlement Appellate Tribunal, New Delhi from 2005 June till August 2006. In the same year, he was appointed as Lokayukta of Karnataka State for 5 years. He has been conferred many awards. Some of them are Vijaya Karnataka in 2006 and in 2010, a Bangalore Hall of Fame Award in 2010, Man of the Year by Times of India in 2010 and in 2011, Public Service Excellence Award from All India Management Association in 2011. He donated the whole cash prize to Jayadeva Institute of Cardiology. In the same year, he was also awarded for his exemplary service in the field of social development by Sitaram Jindal Foundation with a whooping cash prize of 1 crore. And what he did? And this as well entirely he donated to our Indian Army Welfare Fund. With great powers comes great responsibilities. It is difficult to be stern and humble at the same time. In our midst, friends, we have a perfect example, a person with great powers, responsibility, sternness, and at the same time humble. Our Lordship, Santosh Hegde. Sir, few words from you.
Good morning to you all. Good morning to you all. Dignitaries in the dais, Ms. Rajini Mishra, Director, Mr. Samit Ghosh, Founder Director, Mr. Davis, Managing Director and CEO, and members of the Ujjivan family present here. It's a very responsible program according to me. Government of India, having sensed the growth of corruption in this country, tried to bring to the notice of the public servants the consequences of such deeds on the part of the public servants by directing the departments to have 1 week vigilance observance week so that people can understand the consequences of our misdeeds in public service. I'm happy and I congratulate Ujjivan Small Finance Bank for adopting this direction of the Government of India and making their members of this group of family the consequences of corruption in India. Ladies and gentlemen, I worked in many positions, but until I came to the institution of Karnataka Lokayukta, frankly, I did not know the sufferings of the people consequent to misdeeds of the public servants. Having noticed it and studying the same quite deeply, I was wondering why this is happening in a society in India. Then I realized the fault doesn't lie with individuals. The fault lies with the society in which we are. For example, when I was young, if somebody was sent to jail in my village, my parents would tell me, don't go near that house. There was a public boycott of people who committed crimes. And it was not a punishment to the person who committed the crime. It was a punishment to the entire family, apart from the punishment he may get from the court. Because of that, there was less corruption and other misdeeds in the society. There was corruption and misdeeds in the society those days, but the number was very little because of the social thinking. Ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, the thinking of the society has changed today. Today's society, according to me, respects only money and power. Consequently, the members of the community follow what society thinks is the right thing to do. There's a mad race today to become rich and powerful. There's nothing wrong in becoming rich, but legitimately. Not by stealing from somebody's pocket, not by stealing from somebody's plate. That money could never ever bring you happiness. I say it with all sense of responsibility and experience, ladies and gentlemen. You may be temporarily happy, but never forever. You'll be afraid when the enforcement department may come, when the income tax department will come, when the robbers will come. What is the consequences of your storing money in your house on your children? That is the society in which we are today. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to change the thinking of the society. Society should respect honest people. Society should respect people who do public service, but never people who do who indulge in corruption and other criminal activities. That is the only way the people in the society realize that we should not involve ourselves in this type of misdeeds. Now, what is the reason for this? According to me, it is because of a disease called greed. This disease has no treatment. However much you want to change, you can't change if you have this disease. In our country, there has been a lot of development, no doubt about it. We have developed a lot. But amongst all other things, the disease of greed has developed the most. For example, I'll give you an example of scams that have taken place in this country every decade. One example for 10 years. And just imagine what is the consequences of these scams in our country, which is the main reason is because of greed. In the decade of 50s, there was a scam called Jeep scam. Country lost 52 lakhs of rupees. Add to that other hundreds and hundreds of scams that go through in the 10 years. How much loss would have caused? In the decade coming thereafter, there was a scam called Bofus. Country lost 64 crores of rupees. A decade later, or maybe 2 decades later, there was a scam called Commonwealth Games. Country lost 70,000 crores of rupees. None of these figures are mine. These are figures which are investigated by a constitutional authority called CAG, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, and he reported to the government that this much of amount is siphoned off because of some people involving in a scam and the thing. A decade after Commonwealth Games, which was 70,000 crores, was 2G scam. Country lost 1,76,000 crores of rupees in all. A decade later, there was a scam called 2G. Country lost 1,79,000 crores. All these figures you can go to Google and see. Name it, the 2G scam, the Commonwealth Games scam, the Colgate scam, other scams you mentioned it, that you'll get the necessary information on that the thing and all. Imagine this much of money multiplied by the hundreds of other scams that take place in those decades, how much money that you would have lost in this country? And what is the development that you would have had? What would be the consequences of such losses to this country? In 1985, the then the Prime Minister of India, late Rajiv Gandhi, made a public statement with reference to Aadhaar card. And he said, at that time, out of 1 rupee government gave for benefit of some person or the development of the country, only 15 paise reached that target. 85 out of 1 rupee, 15 paise reached. What would it be today? Out of 100 rupees, 15 paise? Greed doesn't stop at that level. Try and understand. You bankers would know what is the consequences of that. We were reading recently in Gujarat, they were building a bridge. And before it could be completed, the bridge collapsed. Why? Because of the inferior material that is used there. What for? For the benefit of the contractor, for the benefit of the people who decided to have a bridge. Country can never really develop if this is the attitude that's prevailing in the society. We have to change. How do we change? Because as I said, there's no medicine for this disease called greed. The only medicine, according to me, is inculcating a value called contentment in life. Of course, you may think, oh, how does these values, these are all hypothetical issues and all. I don't think any greed can be controlled by contentment. Yes, I speak from my own experience in all this. If you have happiness with what you have legitimately, that means you have another value called contentment in life. If you have contentment, you can control the greed that you have. Think of the consequences of so much of money being diverted from the state funds, from development and other projects on the country, on the economy of the country, on the development of the country, on the law and order situation that may prevail during your lifetime and your children's lifetime. Don't think that nothing can be done by you. You can't change the society. You can, according to me. You inculcate that value, contentment in life, and inculcate in your children. One day you will go back to the decades of 40s and 50s in this country, where the majority people had contentment in life with what they legitimately earned. Look at the money that is being siphoned. I stopped maybe around 2000 decade, and now we are in 2023. We've been listening to allegations of 40% being siphoned off from contracts. If that much of money is taken out from the development, how can there be any solidarity in the society? How can there be peace? Ladies and gentlemen, try and inculcate contentment, because that is the only method by which you will be happy. As I said earlier, it doesn't mean that inculcating contentment means you must become a sannyasi or somebody else. No. You must have an ambition to grow, ambition to become somebody big, ambition even to become rich. Legitimately earned wealth is no product of sin. But don't ever allow greed to get into your thinking. Greed is the only thing that's there. And greed has no medicine. Greed is not afraid of any legal proceedings either. And in a judicial system like in our country, today, if a final punishment should come down from the Supreme Court, it takes about 30 to 35 years. Who is afraid if he can make money? He'll think of many other ways of coming out of the allegations of corruption against him. There are many ways out, because there isn't a section of society which doesn't suffer from greed. Let me give you some example. Let me go to another value, then I'll tell you. There's another value which is required. That is humanism. We all think we are born human beings. No, there is no such thing as human beings. We are born to a species called Homo sapiens, which has got nothing to do with humanism. Humanism is a value which our elders created in the society for peace and solidarity. If you don't have humanism, you are not a human being at all. Kannada poets have written, I'll say it in Kannada and I'll translate it in English. Poets have written saying, Yene agu ninige bekadavanagu, adare modalu manavanagu antare. Become what you want to become in life, but become a human being first. During my tenure as Lokayukta, thereafter, after retirement, I've been going to various schools and colleges. I've been to more than 1,700 such schools and colleges, trying to speak to the youth of the country, trying to change their attitude towards wealth. In that process, I keep telling them these examples and all. In that, I mention a slogan of my own, so that may inspire the youth to become content in life. ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಟ್ಟುವಾಗ ಮಾನವನಾಗಿ ಹುಟ್ಟದೇ ಇದ್ದರೂ ಜೀವನ ಪಥದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾನವೀಯತೆಯನ್ನು ಅಳವಡಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಸಾಯುವಾಗ ಮಾನವನಾಗಿ ಸತ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಂಥ ಗೌರವ ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಂಧುಗಳೇ. Even if you are not born a human being, in the journey of your life, if you acquire humanism and die as a human being, there is no better glory than that. Ladies and gentlemen, I have followed this. Otherwise, I have retired 12 years back. I have named 3 chief ministers, 8 ministers, 17 MLAs and MLCs, and more than 150 officers of corruption and malpractices. And I'm still, nobody has been able to point a little finger at me. Now, coming to my experience in the Lokayukta, in 2008, A couple came from a place called Bagalkot with a 6-month-old child. I asked them, what's the problem? They said, this child looks perfectly all right, but this child has no rectum. It eats through the mouth, defecates through the mouth. The local doctor said, don't worry about this, and I'll take the child to a specialty hospital where pediatric surgeon can, through surgery, set right the thing. It's only an overgrowth over the anus, and that can be removed, but then by an expert only. So they took the child to a government medical college hospital, and the pediatric surgeon there examined the child, and he said, he'll do everything all right, don't worry about it, and all, but it'll cost you some money. The parents knew what was going on in everyday affairs, so they had taken some money. They kept the money in his table. The doctor counts that money and says, for this amount, I'll make a hole near the rib cage. The fecal matters will go out from there. The child has to wear a bag throughout the life to collect the fecal matters. Fortunately for the child, they didn't believe the doctor, took the money back and went to different places. They couldn't find anywhere any relief, so they came to Lokayukta office. Lokayukta officers took the child to Manipal Hospital in the old airport road where I was getting my treatment done, and they were the establishers are from Mangalore, where I come from, and all. So I had known them and all. So begged of the doctors to do the operation. They did it. That child, today's 16-year-old girl, just in SSLC, she is studying now and all. Just a week back, she came to my house. They came to my parents, and the child came. And it was her 16th birthday. They wanted to wish her. I got the photograph in my phone. Some of you, I'll show it to you later. She's such good looking and had no deficiency whatsoever. Imagine what her future would have been with this man's thing. Here's a doctor. He's paid well. He must have prayed to God, give me education, make me a doctor, make me a pediatric surgeon, get me a government job. God gave everything. And it was his duty to do that to her. And his greed didn't allow. Just see, ladies and gentlemen, what would be the fate of people who are victims of your greed. 2009, a person came from Koppal district in North Karnataka. I asked him, what's the problem? He said, sir, I have no other problem except that my wife has delivered a girl child. I said, how is it a problem for you? He said, no, sir, there's a government of Karnataka scheme called Bhagya Lakshmi. As per the scheme, a girl child born to a poor family is entitled for certain financial benefits up to the age of certain years. You know. So when I went to the social welfare department, they said there is no proof that you are from a poor family and your daughter won't get anything. So he begged of the officers that he is poor, but nobody believed him. So he came to the Lokayukta office. And I somehow or other believed him, and I sent an officer to Koppal to find out about the background of this person. And the report that I got was his wife, pregnant lady, and another accompanying lady who was not pregnant, walked 9 kilometers to come to the district hospital for delivery in Koppal town. Because the scheme itself said, if a person, a girl child is born in a government hospital, it is deemed to be a poor family, belonging to a poor family, if there is no other evidence to the contrary. So they came to the hospital, and the staff there said, no, first money, then bed. No, they didn't have the money. If they had the money, they would have come in bus. The staff said, nothing doing, unless you give us the money we demand, we won't give you the bed. Now what do they do? She sent the accompanying person back to the village to get the money. 9 kilometers to go and 9 kilometers to come. Then the staff told this lady, until the money comes, don't sit here, sit outside the hospital till the money comes. She had no way out. She walked out the door, the road, and sat in the bus stop. Before the money could come, she delivered a child in the bus stop. hear about this. This is what's happening in a developed country like ours. Now, what does anybody do? Of course, she is not born in a government hospital. So government may claim that we don't have any proof that she's from a poor family. But there was no evidence to the contra. So using a principle of vicarious liability in law, that is, the master is responsible for the mistake of the staff or the servant, I sent a report to the government of Karnataka saying that it's because of your staff she delivered a child outside the hospital. And under the principles of vicarious liability, you have to give the money to the child, because there is no evidence whatsoever that the girl belongs to a rich family. They gave it. But look at it, what greed does. Here are people who are paid, who have retirement benefits. They like the job, that's why they're there. And that is their duty to help people, especially in a hospital. And this is what happens. Then another thing. There are hundreds and hundreds of cases which I have investigated. I'm giving you one for the different purposes of the thing. The next example is one day a lady over 80, 85 years came to me and said, "What's your problem?" She said, "Sir, I don't have any income. I have one son working in Mumbai. He sends me 250 rupees by money order. The postman wants 10%. If you don't give 10% to him, he puts an endorsement. Visited the house 3 times, addressee not found, returned to the sender. But it never went to the son. It was siphoned off on the way, and neither the lady could give a complaint, nor the son could come from Mumbai to give a complaint. She also expressed her grief. How do she survive with the thing? But I had a problem to solve, because the postman didn't come within my jurisdiction. He's a central government employee. So I telephoned to a person, the officer, who is competent to investigate this case. A senior officer with Ashoka pillars and all stars in their shoulder. So while during our discussion, he must have calculated 250 rupees, 10%, 25 rupees. He tells me, "Sir, 25 rupees case, sir. My officers are busy investigating crores and lakhs and scams and all. So I don't have officers. You have a police force of your own. You do it yourself." What do I do? Tell the lady, go to the court, file a case against the officer who refused to investigate? I took his advice. I called the police chief of the Lokayukta. I told him, "Can you help in this matter?" He said, "Sir, why did you contact somebody else? You should have first contacted me. I would have solved your problem." I said, "Whatever is your way out and all, you please do it and help this lady." 3 months later, the lady came. This time, happy. Said, "No problem." The postman gives in the money and goes. Doesn't talk to me. "Yeah, what did he do?" "I don't know, sir." So some time later, I asked the officer, "Like, what did you do?" He said, "This is everyday thing for us." I said, "We go talk to that person and tell him, if you don't agree, we'll fix you in this case, this in that other case." So the problem, so far as this lady is concerned, stopped. Not for others. Just one more example and I'll stop. In 2011, a senior Air Force officer telephoned to me from Hyderabad. I asked him, "What's the problem?" He said, 3 days back, my older brother's 18-year-old daughter is killed in a road accident in Bangalore. Her body is in a government hospital. Of course, he named the hospital. They are not giving, the police are not giving the body because no post-mortem is done. He said, "We all can't come to Bangalore. We are all aged person. We haven't seen her face for a long time. We haven't finished the last rites. How do we go about it? We have kept an ambulance outside the hospital for 3 days. They are not giving the body because no post-mortem is done." I said, "I'll get back to you in a couple of hours." And I went there, hospital, met the superintendent. Superintendent said, sir, it cannot happen. But anyway, let's call the doctors from the post-mortem ward and what happened. One of the doctors came. As he walked in, he addresses the superintendent. What's the hurry, sir? Body is not decaying. Body is in a freezer. Am I to treat the living patients first or examine a dead body? Then the superintendent said, who permitted you to treat a living patient? I deputed you to the post-mortem ward. This hospital gets 4 to 5 dead bodies regularly every day. And all must have piled up by now if you have not done. No, sir, a relative of a patient came from the main building and he had requested me, his relative is not getting proper treatment, and he begged of me to go and treat. So out of humanism, I went there. So I asked him, doctor, did you know that patient or patient's relative earlier? He said, no. I said, yeah, now I know what it is and all. That main building has 30 to 35 doctors. And if one doctor they're not satisfied with and all, they can go to that doctor, then another doctor there itself, rather than go in search of an unknown doctor in a post-mortem ward. I said, I know what to do. But I will sit here until the post-mortem is done and the body is put in the ambulance and sent. And I did it. Ladies and gentlemen, if it happens to any one of us, what would it be? What was the humanism involved in it? Actually, I am told, if money is not paid, post-mortem is delayed. This is the society in which we are. I can give you hundreds of other examples. I was there for 5 years. These are all examples which affected poor people. I have examples of even rich people getting into problems like this. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the future of this country is in our hands. We have to change. I'm 84 years old now. Why do I come here? I have hopes that we can change it. We don't have to sacrifice anything. It's the requirement of law. It's the required condition of your employment that you are going to work honestly. In the process of your dishonesty or greed, you don't hurt rich people. You hurt poor people. Whatever could be your responsibility, there is an element of serving some public. If greed is the one that's going to control you, how can there be peace and solidarity in the society? Everybody may say, oh, I alone can't do it. Or what is this change? I must inculcate some values. What else can you do? If you have any suggestion to the contrary, please let me know. People are not afraid of law. In China, death sentence is the punishment for corruption. And according to Transparency International, a German organization which makes honesty level reports every year of the international countries, in 2016, as reported, which I have not read thereafter, China is more corrupt than in India. Greed has no fear. And our system of law will not punish. Yes, law could be a thing if punishment could be immediately. But that is not going to be there for a long time to come. How else can you be? Do you want a change by a revolution? In revolution, as I understand, there is no winner except the leader of revolution. Let's have a peaceful change. Let us be happy with what we legitimately earn. Tell our children to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a wonderful program, at least to bring to your mind what is the consequences of greed in this country. And to inculcate greed, you don't have to buy it from any shop or anything. It's your choice. You can inculcate it yourself. And humanism, both of which are necessary. If there is no humanism, there'll be no peace and solidarity in the society. I'm proud to say that I have followed it. Anyway, I wish you all the very best. I hope this program will have a successful result, not only from this year's observation of Vigilance Week, from the coming week also, and you people here will set up a path for that. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. That was really very enriching. Seriously, no words to explain that, So, friends, I welcome our Samit sir to facilitate our esteemed chief guest, our Lordship Santosh Hegde. I request our MD Itira Davis sir to facilitate our director. Thank you. Request Samit sir to address the gathering.
Thank you, Justice Hegde. It's because of people like you, we have some hope in this country, actually. Today I read in the newspaper that the CEO of Niti Aayog said by 2047 or something, our economy will be some 30 trillion or something like that, which gives us a lot of hope, and we say, oh, our future is bright. But if you look at the history of countries which have developed, like the US or Europe or whatever it is, if they have not been able to root out corruption, there was high level of corruption in the US, right? And it's only when they were able to root out corruption to a significant extent, unfortunately, I don't think you can root out corruption 100%. A country develops and becomes affluent, middle income, and the future of the people are bright, So it's not just humanity, but purely from our personal, for the future of our future generation, our children, our grandchildren, etc. It's very important that we root out corruption in this country. So that is extremely important. Without that, very frankly, we will be on a stationary cycle. It'll continue. We will continue in this dire state. So I just, after I heard Justice Hegde, I thought of that. But what I wanted to also talk to you about is also last week, I went with my family to this beautiful forest in Kanha. It's a beautiful forest, one of the best national parks in the country. And it was an incredible experience, But when you see the beauty of the forest, of the wildlife, etc., you you also realize that there are laws of nature which are in operation, So those who, very frankly, who are weak, inept, in that kind of population, they don't survive. They get, they get devoured, killed. They become food for the higher level of animals, So it's a tough, unfortunately in our life, that is an underlying reality, And that drew me into the parallel of, I thought, when we started Ujjivan, 2005, and a lot of us bankers, Carol, John, Martin, were in the initial team which started Ujjivan. And we ran a pilot with 13 branches in Bangalore, because none of us had any experience of microfinance. And the Harvard Business School came to do a case study on us, as a startup, this thing. During that period, because microfinance was so cash-based, our loans were disbursed in cash, collected in cash. We had to collect cash from the bank. We had to deposit the cash in the bank. At every step of the way, we had frauds. We had frauds because a lot of our staff who had come into us were dishonest. We had frauds with our customers. We had hold-ups when we went to deposit cash in the bank. We had hold-ups when we went to withdraw cash from banks. It was, that was our biggest lesson, is that we didn't know how to handle cash, and the consequent, all these problems which we faced. The thing is, we had started, Ujjivan, as you know, has an objective, as its name says, upliftment. We are there to support the people who were, who didn't have access to financial service, to provide them financial service and uplift them from poverty or whatever it is as one of the measures. So what do you do in a situation like this, You have to be tough. You have to be tough internally and externally. And we felt, I felt, my God, we've come here to do good, and suddenly we have to be tough, It sort of jarred my kind of value systems, But then I realized that we had, Ujjivan was set up to serve the poor people. And if someone was robbing that money from the poor people, it was a big crime, and it had to be, you have to be tough, whether it is with your internal people, or whether it is with customers, or whether it is people who are coming and robbing the money while we were, transiting cash. So we had to be extremely tough. And I think the need for vigilance and a strong vigilance department started from that point, If we didn't have a strong vigilance team to support us and to be strong, we would have been eaten up like those small minor animals in the forest, So that is a very important lesson. And the thing is, you not only have to be tough out externally, but internally also. You have to be this thing. And even today, as we introduce new businesses, we find that often we are not, completely, we don't know how to do it perfectly. And we are, taken for a ride, We get into huge credit losses, etc. Because some people have said, oh, these are new people who have come in. They don't know how to do this business. How can I, sort of basically rob us, So there also, even today, that is very important. It was not just important for us in 2005. It is also important for us in today, that when we introduce something new, when we products, services, etc., businesses, we need to be ever vigilant and tough. And vigilance has a very strong role to play in our success. Today, also the other changes which are happening in the bank is obviously technology. And technology is also there to help us in vigilance, in terms of how do we manage that risk. So for instance, in microfinance, we are doing this geotagging and geofencing of customers, etc., which are extremely important for us to manage the risk of some of the frauds which we have recently faced, in this area. So we have to adapt also to use proper technology and make sure we are vigilant and strong, So I wanted to leave you with that. I think vigilance has a very strong role in the organization to protect us, protect our customers, protect our business. But I just wanted to leave you with a sort of a happier note, I've been a wildlife enthusiast all my life. And for maybe 50, 60 years, I've been chasing the tiger, in India. Never saw the tiger in the wild for 50 years. But when we went to Kana, we saw 6 tigers, So that was an incredible achievement, including tigress with 3 cubs. So that was an incredible joy for us. So despite all this, there is a joy in that jungle, So there is also joy in running our business. Thank you.
So you are really lucky. I have been trying to chase tigers for the last 10 years. Haven't found any. Thank you, sir. The bank, since the MFI days, has inculcated a sense of ownership in each and every employee in the bank. And that's how we are getting safeguarded. Each and every employee in the bank is not only an employee, but a vigilance officer himself or herself. And on this Awareness Week, we like to award few of our Ujjivan warriors. Request our Lordship, Mr. Justice Hegde, and our Director, Rajni Ma'am, to award our few warriors who are here in South. Call upon Nagasimha, Area Manager, Microbanking. He extended his support to take an appropriate action on the perpetrator defrauding the bank. Thank you. Aragaraja, Credit Officer, Housing. His eye for detail has prevented a fraudulent customer availing loan in the bank, saving a possible fraud on the bank. Thank you. Murali Mohan N, Area Manager, Microbanking. He was pivotal in providing his support to bring justice to the perpetrator of fraud on the bank. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We have warriors all across our country. To name a few, Pratap Rana, Cluster Manager, Collection Microbanking. Ashish Vardhan Mishra, Credit Officer, Housing. Deepika Sharma, CRM, Microbanking. These are just few, my friends. But we are packed with solid warriors in Ujjivan. And we can prevent fraud. And that's what we're going to start from today. We actually had some few videos, but then some glitches. We'll try to send that across on the WhatsApp. Might be after the whole function is done. So we had a concept of escape room where Lakshman sir came up with this idea, this whole team, and John had requested us, requested him if we could do something different. So what we did, sir, in the escape room was we created scenarios, and right and wrong scenario, the right scenario leading you to the exit, and the wrong scenario leading to a dead end. So something like a maze, Takeshi's castle or something like that. And yeah, and please go there, visit. We would request all people across the branches to come down to the HO and experience it. Okay. So I call upon our MD to address the gathering, take the pledge and vote of thanks.
It has been an interactive session today, and Justice Mr. Santosh Hegde presiding over this inaugural session. As emphasized by the Justice, I believe that each one of us present here is aware of ongoing frauds, malpractices around us, and we live in an ecosystem. It's important that we also be alert and avoid being part of it by saying no to corruption and bribery. Every act of fraud is for a malified gain, which has an impact on the society, and we, bankers, are custodians of public money. And it is through our actions and sharing of information that we can start building a more aware society through regular interactions, communication, and awareness of our surrounding, and can enable mitigation or reduction of these instances. The wisdom shared by our esteemed guests has definitely educated us on practices, and similar sessions would be held across ROs and branches in the country in the phased manner. Each one of us present here in person and online is responsible for creating the awareness and are together in it as vigilance warriors. To live by what we believe, let us take a pledge today. Although technology is not here with us, if we could just stand up and take this pledge. I will say a sentence, and if you could repeat it after me. To follow honesty and the rule of law in all walks of life.
To follow honesty, rule of law in all walks of life.
Another pledge, to neither take nor offer bribe.
To neither take or nor offer bribe.
To perform all tasks in an honest and transparent manner.
To perform all tasks.
We can have more, but since technology is not there, I think if we stick and follow these three, it will mean a lot. So thank you, please. You can sit down and then I'll continue with the rest. I, on behalf of the bank and the Vigilance Department, especially thank our chief guest, Mr. Justice Hegde, for his valuable advice and guidance. Also thank Mrs. Rajni Mishra and Mr. Ghosh for gracing the occasion with thoughtful guidance. Of course, good job by marketing and the admin team for coordination with Vigilance on this initiative. And the fact that I came out of the escape room tells me about that. I immensely thank all the employees of the bank who have participated in this inaugural function and who will continue to participate in the Vigilance Awareness Week. It is because of you and your awareness, your participation, that we can make a difference. So thank you, and good luck, not just for this week, but all your careers and whatever else you do in life. So thank you.
Request you all to please.
What is this?
We've been lucky, so we'll try to show you those two videos that we have. It'll take us hardly 5 minutes.
John. How's life? How are things doing?
Yeah, all good, Lakshman.
Good. I think the don't empty your wallet and don't be stupid. I think both these campaigns have really worked well. That the picture series have really worked, and I think now everyone is excited.
Yeah, in this way, we actually wanted to extend this, Lakshman. We are having this Vigilance Awareness Week.
Okay.
Do you have any idea for that?
Well, I was just thinking, I think we should try something different because, given what, don't be stupid and don't empty your wallet has done, I think we should try something that is very, very interactive, very experiential.
What do you suggest?
So the fact is that people, why does fraud happen? Because people tend to take the wrong route. So one thought was that whether we can put up some kind of a question and ask people to take decisions, saying choose which is the right route. Is this the right route or is this the right route? And both the answers seemingly look correct, but the fact is that unless you choose the right door, you will not sail through. I mean, that means you are not protected. So one thought was, there is a concept called this escape room. This is if people are familiar, something like the Takeshi's Castle.
I think it excites me, Lakshman. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Let's try it.
Very good initiative.
That's good, but finding difficult to come out.
Gamification of a learning process is a must, and I think the escape room concept is possibly the best way to gamify learning. So congratulations to the Vigilance team for this.
In an interesting way, we have learned, what are the precautions one should take while handling one's account as well as our customers to protect them.
Everyone should go for it.
Experience is damn good. It was an amazing experience.
Very creative, very innovative. Yeah, like that. Very good concept.
We should do more such programs. Be cautious and read before acting and know the rules.
This is really excellent and a very innovative initiative.
It's an excellent experience.
Hey, this was really fantastic. Cheers to the Vigilance Week.
Finally, you are ensuring everybody should be expert.
There I came to understand about the password and the other safety which we really, not even as a banker but as an individual also, which we need to take care in our personal life as well.
It's an eye-opener.
Hello all, we are in the Vigilance Awareness Week, a good time to remember the importance of ethical practices in business. You know that Ujjivan has zero tolerance to all unethical practices. Remember the strong values of Ujjivan and continue to practice it. Embrace this week as a reminder of our shared commitment to our values and growth.
I am proud to mention that in Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, we have put various control processes and governance processes in place. Functions like vigilance, audit, and others playing a very vital role in creating a ethical, fraud-free, and vigilant environment. All of us should rededicate ourselves and commit to create a fraud-free, vigilant environment inside as well as outside the bank, in which the bright minds of the country blossom and India becomes one of the best in the world.
As we mark Vigilance Awareness Week, let us all be aware of our responsibilities in identifying and mitigating risk. Your responsibility in fostering a risk awareness culture is necessary for the continued resiliency and sustainability of our operations.
The Vigilance Awareness Week is starting, and we wanted to take this opportunity to speak to you about the background of Ujjivan. Ujjivan is built, as you know, on the values of honesty, integrity, trust of the customer, and this has been the core principle and values of Ujjivan right from our MFI days. We are into the financial inclusion sphere where we must ensure that the trust of our customers are never broken. So I'm sure that all of you are doing your best to ensure we are on the same path, and please ensure that we continue to do the same, and all the best for a Vigilance Awareness Week. Stay vigilant, stay aware.
In honor of Vigilance Awareness Week, we must reinforce the importance of ethical business conduct. Your diligence and ethical decision making is pivotal for our success. This week, let's embrace the shared commitment that we have towards the values and growth that we all share. Let's do together, let's make it happen.
Each one of us in the bank is a vigilance person. It's our duty to always protect bank business, assets and its reputation. As we observe Ujjivan's first ever Vigilance Awareness Week, let's reinforce our commitment towards ethical practices with the theme Back to Vigilance Basics. Let's uphold our values and strive for excellence.